There are a bunch of different types of unemployment, and economists like to classify them as structural, frictional, and cyclical unemployment, but you can also categorize them as voluntary and involuntary unemployment. That's totally fine. Let's look at the first type. Structural unemployment is a mismatch between the supply of and demand for workers. An example of this would be if Target went and installed all self-checkouts, because this would leave a bunch of cashiers without jobs and maybe make them a little bit sad. Frictional unemployment is when people become unemployed voluntarily as they move from job to job or into and out of the labor force, like a pregnant woman taking a few months off for maternity leave, or the time it takes for a college student to find a job after their graduation. Cyclical unemployment is the result of businesses not having enough demand for labor to employ all those who are looking for work. During the Great Depression, unemployment reached 25%, which means that 1 out of every 4 people was willing to work, but they just couldn't find a job. Another way to look at unemployment is by splitting it into the voluntary and involuntary categories that we mentioned earlier. So voluntary unemployment is when a person is unemployed not due to unavailability of jobs in the economy, but because of not being able to find employment of his or her own choice. This includes frictional unemployment, like the woman on maternity leave and the college student looking for a job after graduation. Voluntary unemployment is normal and occurs because of the usual turnover in the labor market. Another example of voluntary unemployment would be someone turning down a job because they aren't offered their desired wages or benefits. There's a job available, but it was turned down voluntarily. Involuntary unemployment, on the other hand, occurs when a person is willing to work yet is unemployed. This includes cyclical and structural unemployment. All of these people are willing and able to work, but because of low demand for workers, they are unemployed against their wishes. So those are the types of unemployment. There's structural, frictional, cyclical, voluntary, and involuntary. And some of those are the same thing, and it's a little bit complicated. So thank you, economists.